Welcome, Pathfinders. I'm Rick. And it would seem that while reading over the new villain codec, I've scared off the rest of my party. Stupid goblins. They'll be back. They always come back. Well, while many of us have our villain codec in hand, or on PDF, however you prefer, we haven't had a lot of time to pore over the 20 new organizations within. As such, we'll hold off on reviewing that this week, and instead cover it in detail next week. For this week, as we don't have another book to review, I thought that we could instead look at one of Pathfinder's adventure writers. Dozens of talented authors have used their talents to expand the Pathfinder game, and we here at Find the Path would like to give them a bit more time in the spotlight. For our first author review, we've had to decide between multiple authors and eventually decided on Jason Bowman. It was a three-way toss-up between him, Eric Mona, and James Jacobs, but we decided to start with Mr. Bowman as we just did a video about his new project, Edge of Eventide. Now, many of you probably know Jason Bowman as the lead designer at Paizo and the creative mind behind much of the Pathfinder RPG. His career extends much further back than that, as he was the associate director for Dragon Magazine, as well as a writer for Wizards of the Coast. Perhaps my favorite work of his before Pathfinder is 2007's Expedition to the Ruins of Greyhawk, an adventure that he worked on with both of the previously mentioned writers, Eric Mona and James Jacobs. It serves as an update to the adventure module Greyhawk Ruins from way back in 1990, and it takes players back to D&D's most iconic dungeon. It's a 3.5 book, so it's easy to update for Pathfinders, for any interested game master. Every author has his own style, and often you can tell as much about an adventure from the writer byline on the front as you can from the description on the back. Jason Bowman, for instance, writes classic adventures with a twist. His stories tend to involve traditional story elements, a castle, city ruins, a dungeon, but he then adds an interesting spin, often in the form of a fun new mechanic, or unique monsters. So here's our picks for the top 3 adventures from Jason Bowman. For our first pick, we're going to go way back to the game mastery days. Now, while this is a 3.5 module, it's still set in the world of Golarion. It's an exciting wilderness adventure that focuses on exploration and a very non-linear progression. The players are sent out to tame Bloodsworn Vel, an area just south of Verisha, by the King of Korvosa, and are given 60 days to secure a trade route and accumulate accomplishment points by helping the locals, fighting monsters, and succeeding on side quests. At the end of this time, their points show how well they've conquered the Vel. The free-form nature of this adventure means that players get to explore at their own pace and experience a variety of encounters that they can approach in many different ways. If you're looking for a kingmaker type of adventure without the kingdom building, then this would be a great book for you. Jason Bowman's contribution to the Adventure Path line, the Armageddon Echo, is the third book in the Second Darkness Adventure Path and an excellent addition to the series. Your heroes get to explore ancient elven ruins while battling against an entrenched enemy and the various monsters that have come to inhabit the dead city. This is another 3.5 book that has sadly not been updated yet, but seeing that Second Darkness is the next adventure path after the recently remastered Curse of the Crimson Throne, maybe there's hope. Now, much like the previous entry, the exploration in this adventure is freeform, allowing your players to approach their enemies however they wish. But this time they are faced with an organized resistance that won't just wait for them. The players also earn battle points to track their success against the enemy. Notice a pattern? This book effectively takes the best parts of Conquest of Bloodsworn Vel and repurposes them as a way to let your players become guerrilla fighters, battling alongside their army against overwhelming force. Perhaps my favorite element in this book is a twist. I definitely won't spoil it here. Let's just say that while some writers would simply provide background information to their group, Jason Bowman has taken to heart the adage, show, don't tell. For our number 1 pick, we've gone with the excellent Crypt of the Everflame. Don't worry, this entry does use the Pathfinder RPG rule set. Unlike the previous entries, it's not an expansive exploration module. It doesn't even have any big new mechanics. What it is an amazing first level game for players of any experience level. The story follows your group of heroes as they set out on their first journey, a rite of passage of sorts, for the villagers of a small town. This time, however, everything will not go as planned. What follows is an exciting adventure that includes wilderness exploration and dungeon delving, with enough variety and encounters that everyone can feel useful. The adventure is laid out in such a way as to let you introduce mechanics to players in a simple and organic way, and as such it makes a great first module for new players. Jason Bowman's iconic plot twists, as well as developed NPCs and locations and subtle tie-ins to the greater lore of Golarion, make players feel epic even at first level. It's even the first in a 3-part campaign. I cannot recommend this highly enough, especially if you're introducing someone to role-playing for the first time. So that concludes our look at a few of the adventures written by Jason Bowman. If we missed your favorite, let us know in the comments below. As always, if you like this, feel free to like it, and we'll see you back soon for our look at the Villain Codec. Good luck, Pathfinders.